You have a lot of influences, jazz being an influence, rock music, punk music, funk.
African music,
classical music.
Bulgarian polka music, all music.
Why are your tastes so diverse?
I don't even think of my tastes being diverse, but I guess they are, and thank you for acknowledging. I just love music, you know. When I was a kid, the first music I ever heard was on the radio, like pop music, you know. My name is Michael, I got a nickel. It's like, my name is Michael. And then when I was about 6 years old, my parents split up. And my father, who was, bless his heart, rest in peace, a pretty square dude. You know, briefcase, suit, got on the subway every day in New York, went to work. We came from Australia, worked at the Australian consulate in New York City. And my mom and he got divorced, and my mom took up with a jazz musician in the 60s jazz scene in New York, straight bebop player, you know, hard bebop. And the first time I really saw people playing music was playing, you know, bebop in my living room, guys jamming out, you know, and, you know, ferociously.
Okay.
Jamming out, you know, playing the music of Charlie Parker and Fats Navarro, Dizzy Gillespie, Thelonious Monk, like the bebop, the hardcore. And, you know, they're, you know, it's very cerebrally, spiritually, in every way, a very intense music. And as a little kid, I couldn't believe it. It was so beautiful, and I just rolled around on the floor, like laughing, like it was so incredible. But I didn't, when I saw that, and when I heard that, and when I was deeply affected by that, it was music to me. Right. It wasn't different than like when I put on the White Album and, you know, listened to the Beatles, or when I heard anything. It was just people making music. And it always affected me in the same way. It was just like, this is beautiful. And so it's all just been music to me. So, you know, we categorize it up by culture and by neighborhood and by ethnicity and all these stuff. And that's all beautiful because everyone, you know, music ferments in its own way with every culture and every person. But for me, you know, it's all music, and I'm grateful for all of it.
It's interesting because bebop in particular it's a language that I think a lot of people, if they're not exposed to it early, my dad listened to bebop all the time when I was growing up, so awesome. I was used to hearing it and it always sounded normal to me, but when I play it for other people, it's, I don't know why, but it doesn't necessarily speak to them. Yeah,
it seems like people sometimes, they hear it and they shut down before they listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's complicated, or they do a dumb little dance or something like it's this deep human expression, and I don't understand that. You know what I mean? I think for lots of people, they're very locked into the music that they listened to when they first came into their sexuality as teenagers, until that kind of, then they had to like start being responsible and go to work and be married or grow up and deal with all these responsibilities. And they see this one era of music, oh, that's my music, that's what I like.
Sure.
And they don't listen to music before it, and they don't listen to music after it. And they have this thing. And, you know, look, I'm glad they have that thing, because that's beautiful. But I don't really see it as loving music. I see it as loving at a time in their life when they felt free and the spirit of hope and adventure was alive in their hearts. So I try to keep the spirit of hope and adventure always alive, and at the same time to grow up and to, you know, shoulder my responsibilities as well as the next guy, you know. But music is so beautiful. And, you know, but, you know, a little while ago I was talking to George Clinton, and he told me, he was like, and George, you know, he's a national treasure, as we all know. And he said, when you hear something that kids are doing and kids love it, and he goes, and it's the dumbest fucking thing you've ever heard in your life, the simplest, dumbest shit. He was like, that's the fucking thing you gotta pay attention to, because that's the revolution, that's the spirit, that's what's happening. And so all of it, man. It's, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with Thelonious Monk's quote when this interviewer asks him, says, what music do you like, Monk? What do you like to listen to? And he's like, I like all music. And the guy said, even country music? And Monk said, well, what part of what I just said did you not understand? Like, what does all leave out?
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like that. And, you know, there's music that you know, it's rare I used to get offended by certain music sometimes. It doesn't really happen to me anymore. There's always something to learn, You know, even the most formulaic pop garbage, there's something in there to learn, you know?